Hey, good morning, family. And just to show you the scene here, the best way I can describe it is if you picture a war zone in a movie, well, that's what this community is facing right now. I want you to look at this guy. This used to be a car repair center right here, and you see this car that has been devastated right here. You look inside of the building, there's other cars that are in there that are just pinned down. On the other location right here is a mattress location. There's nothing there. We had to literally go to Google Maps to figure out exactly what it was.
Lawrence Jones stands amidst the ruins of what was once a thriving community in North Carolina, now reduced to rubble by Hurricane Helene. The devastation is staggering, with familiar landmarks transformed into unrecognizable wreckage. As he surveys the scene, Jones reflects on the human toll of this disaster and the challenges faced by those left to pick up the pieces. The scale of destruction is hard to comprehend, even for those who have lived through previous natural disasters. Jones continues his report, giving voice to the shocked and disbelieving residents.
We never thought it would hit up here in these mountains like this. But when we walked down and seen that road gone and that bridge gone, I mean, it took my breath. I was like, what happened?
Lots of disaster in this area, a lot dead, a lot without power and water. We don't know when the water will be restored. I don't have either right now.
My son hiked 5 miles to get me. We went through all the devastation of there were no roads, there were no homes, there was nothing.
Just so much damage.
The raw emotion in these testimonies paints a vivid picture of the immediate aftermath of the hurricane. Families are struggling to meet basic needs, with access to food, water, and shelter becoming daily challenges. Yet, amidst the chaos, a spirit of resilience and community support begins to emerge.
It's such an outreach from around the country. I mean, folks from all states coming in, and they're just helping us and bringing supplies in, truckload after truckload.
I think that our government can do more. Because we're going to need the help. There's roads gone. It's going to take a lot to rebuild us.
As communities band together to support one another, questions arise about the adequacy of the government's response. The frustration with perceived insufficient aid is palpable in the voices of those affected.
Giving us $750 if you can even apply for it is ridiculous. And I've only heard of a handful of people getting approved. $750 isn't going to do anything even if you do get approved. Not with the damage we're seeing, not with the hurting that people are going through right now.
Where is the help for Western North Carolina? We can send billions to Ukraine, and we can't help Western North Carolina. That's our money.
The critique of government response extends beyond financial aid to a call for more hands-on involvement from political leaders.
I would say to Kamala Harris, this tragedy did not happen in a nice neighborhood downtown Asheville. Step out, get your rain boots on, get your mud boots on, your gloves on, and go out there and walk through what I hiked through for 2.5 miles to get back to Asheville, to get back to my family. You hike it, then you tell me what it's like.
As the community in North Carolina grapples with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, Jones shifts his focus to another crisis unfolding across the country: the ongoing debate over immigration and sanctuary cities. He travels to Chicago, where the influx of migrants has sparked controversy and raised questions about resource allocation.
What's the big problem in Chicago right now with the migrant crisis?
The mayor allowed the illegal migrants to come into our city to invade Chicago. 2, that schools, park districts that was closed and allowed the migrants to be in there, repurposed. These apartments, middle-class families was living there, and they're building them now for migrants.
Where is the money coming from to pay for all of this?
Well, the money is coming from the hard-earned taxpayers, taxpayers' dollars that don't have the luxury now to go to the park in their community because migrants are there.
The repurposing of public spaces to accommodate migrants has sparked resentment among some local residents. Jones explores the impact on communities struggling to balance compassion with the strain on resources.
This used to be an academy for young women, and now they said they could not continue to operate it because of funding. Now they're operating this same academy as a place for migrants to sleep and stay.
It's just like Wadsworth. It's just like many of our schools, our parks that was closed and shut out from the community for our children that we pay taxes for to be successful. You tell us that there's no funding or there's lack of funding, but then you bring migrants in and make them shelters. That's not the American way.
The controversy extends beyond schools to healthcare facilities as well.
They shut down this health center that's behind me, but what was confusing is that they turned it into a migrant shelter.
This health clinic was for the community. This was a place that if you didn't have a lot of money, you didn't have any insurance, you can go there and get the service. But they took that away from the community and now made it
They said they couldn't afford.
As tensions simmer over resource allocation and immigration policy, Jones turns his attention to another divisive issue playing out on college campuses across the nation. He visits a university in Wisconsin where students are organizing a pro-Palestinian fundraiser.
We're here to really advocate for Palestinians, for Gaza. We're advocating, honestly, for just humanity.
There's also a lot more casualty on the Palestinian side than there is on the Israeli side. And I'm not trying to like compare the sides, but a lot of people are like, oh my God, October 7th. But like, no, this is since 1948.
If you really look at what's going on in Gaza, you can see it's just really inhumane.
Jones engages with student activists, probing their understanding of the complex geopolitical situation and challenging their assertions. The conversation reveals deep ideological divides and highlights the role of emotion and incomplete information in shaping perspectives.
People are saying, well, but what about the Jewish community that is under attack as well? The women that were raped, the kids that were put into ovens.
Wait, I thought that was...
It was not. The UN came out with a report.
That was denied. Was that not denied?
I believe it was.
I believe it was.
It actually happened.
I thought that was denied.
And I've talked with some of the
I don't know the
survivors
resources.
as well.
I don't know.
The exchange highlights the challenges of finding common ground on such a contentious issue.
You feel like that you could separate the two and you say, hey, let's just talk about the humanitarian aspect of it without talking about the larger conversation of Hamas using the people that you care about, I care about, as human shields. Like, does that concern you?
It does concern me. It does. It's actually really unfortunate. We're not, we don't look highly at that at all. Because you got to understand, you're all talking about Hamas says, we're talking about the civilians.
As Jones and his Fox colleagues reflect on these intersecting crises, natural disasters, immigration, and ideological conflicts, they considers the broader implications for American society and the challenges of finding common ground in an increasingly polarized landscape.
It's not a bad thing for children to have emotional responses to things and to be, operating off of emotion. The problem is that they're at a university where they're supposed to be taught humanity, supposed to be taught history, and they're not taught these things. So they're completely fueled by emotion, and they have no idea what they're talking about.
From the devastation of Hurricane Helene to the heated debates over immigration and foreign policy, Lawrence Jones has provided a first-hand look at the complex issues shaping America today. As communities grapple with these challenges, the search for solutions and understanding continues. The interconnected nature of these crises, natural disasters straining resources, immigration policies dividing communities, and ideological conflicts playing out on campuses, highlights the need for nuanced approaches to addressing the nation's most pressing problems. What do you think is the most urgent issue facing America right now, and how would you propose addressing it? Share your thoughts in the comments below.